3, 2, 1 happens and whatever.
I think it already did.
Okay. So, hello everyone. Yes, we had a earthquake in Utah today. I'm just mentioning it because a lot of news outlets and whatever are freaking out about it, and I hate to say it, but even my mother is. Oh no, the second coming's near. We had an earthquake, is basically between the coronavirus and the earthquake, she's freaking out. And it's really not that much to freak out about, I will say. So, just so you're aware, we did have one, but as I read, last one that was this big was in 92. About every 10 years we have one around this size. It was a 5.7, maybe a 5.8 if once they get all their details. So not to freak out, which a lot of people online and whatever are freaking out. The statue Moroni's trumpet that's on the Salt Lake Temple did fall, but it has fallen in the past. It's been just dropped and everything else. So it's actually closed right. The Salt Lake Temple is actually already closed, spreading. So if you hear that, you can kind of disregard it. It's just people taking some of the things they've heard and embellishing it. You know, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has been around over 200 years. And in 200 years, a lot of telephone games can happen. And that's a lot of what's happened. In fact, this whole time, a lot of the telephone games, I'm not saying the second coming isn't near, but I'm saying that a lot of telephone games have been proven to have happened. Where someone says one thing, we're passing a telephone booth. Anyway, where a lot of things have been said will happen, and you know, we know there's a lot of things in Revelations, other prophets said. Someone was bumping the bed over and over and over again real quick.
And I didn't feel anything,
yeah,
so.
I was going to say, so it woke Mindy up. David didn't feel it from the epicenter. When Jen gets on, we'll find out if she felt it either. But Jen lives near us. She may have even slept through it, depending on how light of a sleeper she is and a few other things like that. They have had 2 aftershocks since the main one. One was, it sounds like a little bit after, and one was not that long ago. But yes, we are fine. That's part of the reason I figured I definitely had to stream at a somewhat decent time today, in case you guys heard of it. But yeah, I think there's a lot of games of telephone that have happened, taking what was prophesied and saying, well, this is the only one. When I was younger, we were told that the conference center, that buildings in Salt Lake would be built underground eventually to avoid a nuclear bomb. Well, when you did some digging, you found out it was that there had been a prophecy that there would be gardens growing on top of buildings. And because at the time, the only way known that you could grow gardens on top of buildings was to have them in the ground. That's what the prophecy was changed to. Not by the person who did the prophecy, but
Steph said I had and was worried about y'all. Apparently it fully woke the they were their entire bed was extremely shaking, and they woke up.
Your cousins were freaking out.
Yeah.
We got a message from one of our, in fact, I haven't heard from Nancy. We might want to check on her because she was at the epicenter, but from Russia, and he was freaking out, she said. And then the brother was the one that sent out "Is everyone okay?" to our family text, and he mentioned that his kids did not like the surprise. Is kind of the get that.
I guess they're one of my friends earlier. I was like, hey, cause he felt it fully, and I was like, hey, how would it feel like? And he was like, it felt like I was a ship in the ocean, and it was cool. But also, he was also but it was also extremely bad and weird.
Because the other thing that seems to go along with it, and this is what got me, it shocked me for a little bit when I was waking up trying to figure out what was going on, because like I said, I thought someone was bouncing my bed, is there's a feeling of unease that always comes with it generally. An unexplainable feeling of unease, and that's what was really getting to me the most and woke me up the most. I probably, because I had a bad night last night, I probably would have slept through it, except it was that feeling of unease. And with PTSD, I don't go good with that, and so I sat there with my eyes shut, trying to figure out what was going on, and then it dawned on me, and I went, oh, okay. Because I could tell it wasn't bad enough to have to get in the doorways or anything like that at that time. Had it been a lot worse, I probably would have, but it was, yeah.
Steph says, I've been through, and it does feel a bit like rocking, shaking ship. To what I said.
Mm-hmm. And we were quite a ways from the epicenter. So really, the epicenter is down in Salt Lake. I will say, if Salt Lake gets a big one, it could, or if one's closer, it could cause some decent damage here in Cache Valley. The last one, when there wasn't as much infrastructure even, the last one I know of was in the early 1900s, and it caused major fires and stuff. Obviously now the risk of fires would be reduced, but there's a lot more houses and everything else, and it's worried if we had a big one. One of the worries in Utah is the stability of the ground, I will say.
Steph said a very unnerving feeling, similar to what you were saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The stability of the ground, because of the way the ground is, any earthquake could easily cause liquefaction. However, even with this one, some of the older brick buildings have cracks in them. The temple had a few dislodged, the Salt Lake Temple had a few dislodged stones, and then the trumpet from the angel Moroni. They did have a water line break at the airport, and they said they were actually glad in a way for the coronavirus, because evacuating everyone was a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah.
So flights were diverted and stuff. They did close down the road to the airport for a short period of time, but they said there was not any road damage. The reason it had been closed down was to double check any of the bridges.
Tis raining.
Which makes
It is.
complete
raining
sense.
basically the whole way here.
That they
I saw it rain
need to-
earlier, but wait, why did you throw it? Are you just leaving them back here?
Complete sense that they need to check the
yeah,
bridges
leave 'em
and
back.
everything. So,
Bye.
mhm.
I was also saying bye to the stream.
Okay. Yeah, no. A earthquake over a 5.0 happens about once every 10 years here. And it was a 5.7 to 5.8. Every 50 years, 1 over 6.0 happens. So, the one in the early 1900s was from what I remember, was over 6. So, is it bigger than some others we've had? Definitely. Is it outrageously, was it so out of the ordinary that I think it would count towards the wars and rumors of wars and tales of earthquakes in diverse places and everything else? That one, I feel, is debatable. Where it is a common, decently common, as in over the years. And the reason I bring that up is I do know, as I said, my mom is kind of freaking out about it. But to be honest, my mom was freaking out about Desert Storm, and was one of the ones that was sure that that was an indication of wars and rumors of wars, and that the second coming would happen any minute. So, am I saying not to be prepared for the second coming? I'm going to make it clear. No. Everyone needs to prepare, I feel. But do I think we need to freak out and it's going to be here any second type thing? No. I don't think that either. I think, yes, being aware, but not the freakouts that I have that are happening. I mean, I hate to say it, but The toilet paper stocks, the place it's the worst, they've said, sadly, is Utah, which we've talked about in other streams. Yes, I think some of that has to do with the larger families. But I'm going to admit, some of it is just people being stupid and freaking out. Oh no, there's this huge thing going to happen, and we've been warned for years to be ready for 3 months or a year. So now I'm going to go get everything ready for the next year. Right now. And maybe not even for the next year. Maybe I should get enough for a few years. And so it's ridiculous. At the same time, because of some of the fact that a lot of people do stock up for a year or more, I do know some of the warehouses and whatever, we're actually gearing up for case lot sales. We're hitting kind of our case lot sale times, and I don't know if they do case lot sales other places. But in case anyone doesn't know what a case lot sale is, I'm pretty sure Steph does, because she lived in Idaho. But a case lot sale, what they do is they sell basically in bulk. You can get a certain price on items, but if you will buy the whole case, literally a whole case of that item, you can get it cheaper. So if you buy a case of canned green beans, you'll get literally a whole case and have to be able to put it away and use it, but you can get it for slightly cheaper. Now, one thing that I feel is kind of telling is the fact, I'm going to pull over. We did have a case lot sale going on when coronavirus fears started getting out of hand. And our local page, one of our local selling pages, someone was literally offering a case of green beans and a case of red beans and the full case, and said, I don't need these, I just bought them. And it's like, why would you buy, and literally said, I'll sell them for the price I bought them for. And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you buy a full case of stuff that you aren't going to use, that you don't need? And my guess is that they mass panic bought and then got home and realized, oh wait, none of us will use this. And so now they're trying to get their money back. To me, that is inappropriate. I actually watched a video the other day, a day or two ago, that when they're sitting here saying, don't panic, leave stuff for other people, whatever else. Great. But in the very same video, right after they said that, she then goes to a grocery store, a bigger grocery store, bulk food grocery store, just to see what's going on. And then while she's there, I guess, their governor issued the emergency order, and she proceeded to mass buy. Well, if we get stuck in the house, I'm gonna need, and she literally walked the aisles. If we're stuck in the house for weeks, what are we gonna need? What else, what else do we need? Okay, I get that, yes, you kind of need to do that, but literally in a video telling people not to panic, she spent over $400 or something telling people not to panic. And that was just, it's just daily essentials. And I'm not trying to make fun of her or anything. Let me make that very clear. But what was telling to me was exactly what she showed in that video. To get caught up in the panic. She went just to see what the shelves looked like, to be able to show everyone, because she had heard and wondering what her store looked like. So she went to go look. Well, that looking turned into buying a ton of stuff. Honestly, the mass order. But we've gotten things like, I'll pick up some ice cream. Or use what we do have around and letting Brett go do all the shopping. I will admit that. And that's a family that's high risk. And part of the reason is, I'll be 100% honest, part of the reason we aren't is because I don't want to be caught in that mass panic buying thing. It's bad enough. Brett's work was set to work Saturday and not work Monday so they could do what they call cooler clean it, which is needed. Basically, they shut down they kill one day, and they do work fabrication so that they can clean out the cooler, and then they have to refill it. So Brett was going to work Saturday and not Monday. Not a problem. The problem became, and it's not a problem, but the demand is so high now that they are actually working them both Saturday and Monday. They are not doing cooler clean out. And the reason they do the cooler clean out, they get all the beef out of the cooler, because the beef go in hot, so they are dripping fat when it happens, if that makes sense. So they go in hot, they're dripping fat, and then they drip that fat all over the floors. So for Brett, and people in Brett's area, it can get pretty dangerous in there, especially if they don't do cooler clean out. So they will have to reschedule, but it shows the panic. The fact that Brett has to work at least one extra day. Who knows how many days until May, and they've had to increase it to meet demand. So, and at the same time, even more telling is the fact that their supplies of beef are actually reduced because nothing's being let over the Canadian border. At least from what we've heard. So now you have the case of, go to the other side of this park. Oh, wait and do this first. Now you have the case of we can't get saying, but he said they did have China cattle yesterday, so. But now they can't get the beef from Canada down. And this plant has done a lot of processing of the China, not the China, of the Canadian beef up to do certain programs that actually earn extra money, and they've been better at doing them. They tried to set up some of the other areas and they couldn't set them up as well. So okay, let's do this one. Anyway, so Brett's is set up to earn more money for the plant. Even though other plants are set to run more hours, they are trying to get his plant set up to do that, but it's not. On that note, though, Brett did talk to the union, and it is acts of God are excluded. They do not have to pay 32 hours a week if an act of God is involved. So obviously that's what this could be considered. So they will not have to pay. The union boss is trying to get some concessions if they do get shut down, but right now there's no guarantee. And Brett found out, which I was kind of like, really, Brett? And I think he may have said this on yesterday's stream. He came home, it won't be JBS that decides if we get shut down or not. It'll be the health department. And I'm going, really? I could have told you that one. So they voted on some measures that were not, they had a union meeting and they actually held it, and the reason they held it was because they needed to do voting for some things. So there was that. But I just had to laugh when he came home telling me that. It was kind of like, what did you think? Who did you think was going to make that call? Did you really think your work would make that call? And basically what he's been told is, if it sounds like when he's been told if it hits the plant, but anyone who's saying if does not understand the nature of this disease. It's when it hits the plant, then the health department will decide the severity and whether they shut it down or not. And the reason I say it that way is it depends on when it hits. If it hits once a vaccine has been offered and spread, I don't think anything will happen. If it hits in a little bit, they may look at it very seriously. So, it should be interesting. I'm just checking something because my stepson tried to claim that there was another gift. I didn't think so. I think he was slow on the uptake of the gifts. He tried to tell me that there was a new gift released yesterday. I think he just had collected his gifts from the event and the one that they did release. I will say, with them shutting down the malls, in some ways I can see why they're shutting down the malls. Let me make this clear first. Most of the places with malls are having outbreaks. That doesn't surprise me. At the same, where no one's allowed out of their houses, as you said, the being glad you don't live in a big city, as you said yesterday. Right, or that you're not at your place in Arizona where you were as this happened, because you have room to get around, which if you didn't, you would be going crazy. Walking is . compared to those of us who are maybe more used to playing like I'm playing now. Obviously today I'm not going to go for I think I'll go fight in a fortress, but I'm not going to go for a sponsored fortress today, I don't think. Just because I don't see why. Where I'm already out and about here. So part of the reason I'm going around Hyrum, so there's a few things. One, if you've noticed, I haven't even bothered to check the map and double check the different stops and everything. The reason for that is this is Jan's home turf. This is where she's been telling me to go for the 9 3/4 and whatever. Is there are spots here, nests of a lot of 9 3/4 around here. So this should not be leaving the house for 3 to 4 weeks. They should self-quarantine themselves. In a way, I agree with that. But in a way, it's just delaying the inevitable. And if they're meeting in small groups, plus honestly with those two, okay, so here's the thing. They aren't asking to meet in big groups. They're teenagers, for crying out loud. Most teenagers now are kind of going stir crazy. And yeah, they have homework to work on, yes. And a few other things like that. And there's a lot they could do from home. But at the same time, they're teenagers. And I'm not gonna be a bitchy mom and no, you can't go anywhere for the next month because you're at high risk. What I am going to say is protect yourself. Oh, I thought there was a fortress here. There's not. We're gonna have to go to a different place for a fortress. Protect yourself. Take appropriate measures. Wash your hands. Don't meet in with big groups. Who are you playing with? Who's going to be there? How much are they around and about? Are they aware? And honestly, I know the answer to all these questions. It's not a very big group. There's first of all, playing D&D with a group of more than 5 to 10 gets very difficult. So there's not more. So it's a small group. Second, even of this group, many of them come from smaller, what the house they're visiting in, there's 4 people, from what I remember. And 4 people total, not 4 kids. So they are a small family from my experience. They do a little bit more than most people. They have their D&D group. They have music lessons. 2 or 3 music lessons, I believe, actually. Plus, usually smaller offices. So, Mom and Dad work in smaller offices. And kids have music lessons. Well, concerning, I don't feel. Are we taking some extra precautions? Well, naturally, I've got vitamin C on hand and to tan. It's going to come from my husband coming home from work in a great big, in a facility that has thousands of workers. That's where our danger lies. And there's nothing we can do about it because we don't have the income to say he needs to stay home. And unlike one of his friends who works on the front lines of the healthcare industry, he's not about to go in a garage or something and strip before coming in the house to try and make sure he doesn't bring it in. I know him. I've actually, there's some complaints I actually have there because there's a few steps I feel he should be taking even without this that he kind of is stubborn and refuses to take to protect the house. So if he's not going to take smaller steps, he's not going to take the more major steps. So it is what it is, and we have to deal with it. Let's see, can I reach the fortress from here? No, I cannot. Okay. But yes, he does have a friend who's a nurse, so she's on the front lines. And she's coming home every day and stripping her clothes in her garage to try, and then immediately getting them in the wash to try and reduce the chance of her or her family getting it. Healthcare worker is going to the point of literally stripping down daily. Am I overreacting? Asking my kids to be careful? I don't think so. So, yeah. Okay, let's see here. Go in a few times. That was ridiculous. Oh well. I did not get gifts sent yesterday after we got home. So after I finish this, I'm going to send gifts. Do you need spell energy or... I'm guessing spell energy. Oh, I get that. Not a problem. Spell energy or runestone? Oh, yeah, there you are. I'll send that. I hope that's the right thing that you need. Okay. That's what I gotcha. I think someone in front of me is playing either Wizards Unite or Pokemon Go. Because this is the second time I've seen them coming near driving into the same spot where the gyms / fortresses are. And I'd have gone and saw what it was, but they pulled out pretty quickly, so here they come around again. Sounds good. I'm just playing in the fortress a few times. And there they are again. I wonder what they're doing. And now they're pulling around. That was interesting watching. They appear to be on the phone. Almost as though they can't figure out where they need to go. But it was just interesting that they pulled where a huge nest of Pokemon Go and Wizards Unite stuff is. So are you going to go back to Arizona at all? Are you staying there and trying to decide what to do? What's your plan? Just curious. That makes sense. So you're just kind of waiting around trying to decide where you're going next. Okay, I'm going to move up because it appears, even though it's not fully marked, we are in the place of a bus stop. I realized as people are parked there or are sitting there talking. And because they're sitting there talking, I don't want to be in the way of them being able to get on the bus. So I'm going to the next fortress. See if I can get rid of that annoying radio sound. If not, I'm going to have to... Okay, there. Hey, I got a Yo-Ball program, finally. Interesting. Pixie, pixie, pixie.
Hello, how are you?
Okay.
What's up?
What do you mean?
Are you there?
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, where are you now?
No attacking each
In
other.
Hyrum?
You're where?
In Hyrum? I dropped kids off, and then I figured I'd just stream from here.
Oh, that works. I was just wondering where you were. You thought the same thing Caden did this morning. The cats were jumping on the bed. So, Frida, that's how I found out about it. Frida came up, did you just feel that earthquake?
What earthquake?
I'm like, what earthquake? No. Didn't feel a thing, sweetie.
Yeah,
I did.
they
Felt
said
my bed
actually
shaking.
that houses
What?
even, they said the amount that people felt it varied even from house to house in the
Yeah.
same neighborhood because of the way our ground is,
Yeah.
because of how much sand there is.
Mm-hmm.
It woke Mindy up.
Woke Mindy up.
Didn't wake me up.
If it didn't
So-
wake him up, how did he know that it felt like cats jumping on his bed?
Because he went back to sleep. He thought it was the cats and just went back to sleep.
Okay, so it did wake him up. He just...
I woke up, but I'm back to bed.
Okay, those are
Yeah.
two different things.
Loggy was wondering what was happening because his computer stand started shaking. About the time, the only indication something happened is the lights in the plant flashed.
Mhm.
So that's the only indication I had that something happened.
There's car wrecks, too.
Oh, I believe that.
Like his road is taking over. Yeah!
So anyway, I'll let you get back to streaming.
So they did, did you hear that the trumpet came down from the temple?
I saw that.
Yeah.
And it's like, people are freaking out. How's he going to blow his trumpet? And I'm going, you have the wrong information.
Exactly. It's not that Ronan that's going to blow his trumpet.
Anyway.
It's not that Ronan that's going to blow his trumpet. That's just a depiction of the real Moroni. So, the resurrected Moroni is going to be the one blowing his trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
The real man.
But it is interesting that the Salt Lake Temple is already closed for renovation for
Yep.
earthquake.
Yep. So, I don't know. Woke Chrissy up. I called her up and to see if she was okay. She said, woke me up. I'm not home. I found something out, Caden. Your mom's probably going to be placed in quarantine when she gets back.
Oh, yeah.
She's in Jamaica right now.
Not probably.
What?
I would say almost guaranteed. And on top of that, whether she can even get back.
It's a different story.
Yeah.
So it's a different story. She may not be able to get back till after the virus is under control.
Mm-hmm.
So that's her choice for going. But Jamaica's under lockdown right now, Kate, and they've closed all their schools, everything down there. So I don't know.
All right.
You know, it's crazy. Anyway, I will talk to you in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Love you.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You didn't know that, huh?
Sorry, I had to take that. I'm just curious. Wrong way. Still got plenty ways to go on a few of those. Seeing if okay, I've got all my gifts that I can open. Looks like I've got one gift that I'm not going to be able to open. Just seeing if any spell energy's on the ground. Nope. Okay, now let's see where we're at. Extravagant! Yay! This goes to you. So I really hope they come up with a potion or something to make it so you can sit at home and fight in the fortresses and get your ends. Because obviously that's really needed for people on full quarantine. So one thing they did do here last night, I believe it was, is they have now shut down. That would work too, but yeah, they have now completely shut down all restaurants. Well, not completely. There is no dine-in at restaurants, etc. You can do drive-up, and they bring it out to you, but there is no dine-in anymore here in Utah. So one reason it would be nice, though, if they could do that is, yeah, it would take a little bit, but then they would even more so know where people are playing, and maybe they could figure out a way to put a temporary stop or a permanent stop somewhere really close. Yay, I got a bow! Because I really believe if people had places closer to them, it would even more encourage them to get out. And so if you were if you were to have that, you'd know where people are playing or living or whatever, or a better idea of where their main bases are. And then you could set your people looking at maps, looking for places semi-close, like one close enough to reach from the house or the main center, another a little ways away, another a little ways away from that, etc. Trying to create kind of and another bow. Wow, 2 in a row. I like that one. Because then if you knew that, it would even more so, people would be more likely to run across others playing and say in their area that they're their neighbors and stuff and say, "Hey, join us." Rather than, I know a lot of people are having to go a ways away from their house, and so people they run into, they don't know as well while they're out walking for it or whatever. And so there's not the word spread as much. And I'm going to be honest, where I am, we actually ran across someone at one point from our ward playing. Neither of us knew the other played because there's nowhere in our area to play. You actually have to go a ways away to play it. And they basically said they don't play as much as they would like because they can't. Now let's see where we're at. Okay. We will talk to you later. Just looked back and I'm glad I moved because I see the bus right behind me. That was kind of ridiculous. First delete of the day. another bow. Four more. And that'll be the last of my oddities runestones too until I get some more. It's interesting how sometimes you can see all the last two and sometimes you can only see one of the last two. Even in the same fortress. Sorry about the yawn. So someone asked on one of the groups I'm part of, who fills up on spell energy and tries to keep it maxed out? And I'm like, me? Of course, this is partway way. Because when I go home, who knows, Brett might be wanting to go out. Okay, let's see where we're at. Oh, I got one extra. Oh well. I can definitely save it for tomorrow. Oh! So I did get one thing finished. You guys saw I'd already done that one. Okay, I think it's time to head home. So it does look like on the gift, or on the daily tasks, you are having to click on them again to make sure they start. And it looks like Bretzwer just got out the fabrication department. The reason I say that is there's a whole bunch of cars leaving. So Brett's area is not as big as Fab, but at the same time, thing I did find. Oh, so one thing while I'm thinking about it. If you remember, I said I didn't know if they would have sent the stuff I ordered because they closed down the shipping and the warehouses except for major demand and medical supplies. For Amazon, my daughter did get her stuff today, and hers would she got her tank tops today, so that is not a problem at all. Or with that, or at least with her, she got those, which also tells me it's highly likely that my son should be getting everything we sent to him, which is a huge relief and help because, yeah. And the reason I say my son should be getting what's sent to him is that the echinacea, while it's on the line between, if she got her tank tops, he should definitely be getting those. And no one can, I don't think anyone can argue vitamin C is not a medical supply. So, there's that. I'm trying to watch and see if our medical marijuana grow is being grown. It doesn't look like anything's growing right now, but there's definitely signs posted, and they've got signs posted, a place for someone to live, and cameras. So either for someone to live and or work. It's not a big place, it's smaller, but it's not, it's weatherproof, it looks like, which would mean you probably, it wouldn't take much if I could see it being insulated. You could live there through most of the year to watch the place, to literally be on hand to watch the place, and then during harvest take it all in, or harvest the crop and mark and tag and everything. It's an outdoor grow, which, depending if that's how they're doing all their grows, they're gonna have to grow more. A big crop during the spring, a big crop when they grow it, to get enough to last. They may only have a harvest for at the same time. And another thing I've heard is if it's too long after harvest, it can cause, or it can be less effective, depending on how long you wait. Now, I'm not sure, if the time comes we feel that other things aren't working and it's ready, it's appropriate for one of us to try, then we're ready to go, and we aren't, rather than years down the road going, why did we try it so soon? Now we have nothing to turn to. So there's that. Jen, if you drive in this area, I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see where we're at. Obviously going southbound. If you drive in the next couple of days or whatever, if you look off to the left, you'll see a Girl Scout cookie sign, or Girl Scout cookies sold here sign. And then if you look kind of by the trees in the next yard, you should be able to find the phone booth, the Doctor Who phone booth. So, just putting it out there. Sadly, that one is completely private property. You couldn't go near it, so it is not worth it so I don't think it's appropriate to put a stop on, but it is cool. About saw a motorcycle run into a truck. The motorcycle pulled a U-turn right after a truck pulled out, which was okay, but then the motorcycle started watching the traffic behind him and not the traffic in front of him. And so just about ran into the back of the truck. Oh, I'll take that one. It wasn't the one I'm going after, but I'll definitely take it. I was actually going after the energy, and then I was going to go after... That's not it there. That's what I was after. Go after this. And then I have one more I wanted to go after. That's why I'm still kind of here. See if I can get it there merged. That wasn't the one, but I'll take it. That is, if it'll let me return it. Okay, don't need the tank of brains. Check this one. Yeah, I'll take that one. So I'm on a dirt road right now. That's why I can kind of just stop. Is almost no one takes this road, and you can watch and see who's on it. XP level, they should have rewards every so many whatever. And then it just resets again and again and again. So like in Wizards Unite, if you were at level 60, you could still get then more rewards for playing hard. I'll take that. That'll leave me with 10 fluffy not fluffies until I can get the others. Is all to get. So, plus it'll help me get more oddities runes. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. We'll talk to you later. Bye.